Welcome to Real Talk in ELT, a podcast that talks about the reality of teaching English.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Real Talk in ELT. I am already set up here because we've got many more tools to look at with the Twee app and the website. So we're going to look now. We went through in the first episode. If you're interested, you can go back and take a look. We went through reading all 7 of the tools that they have and kind of different ways that you can use it and what it spits out and sometimes when it doesn't function. And now we're going to be looking at vocabulary. So vocabulary, we have 5 different tools here. And let's see what we can come up with. So the first one is fill in the gap. Ugh. The next one is create a matching exercise with the words and definitions. Then we have create a list of sentences with vocabulary. Then we have essential vocabulary on a topic, create a word formation exercise, and create communicative situations with your vocabulary. So let's take a look. First, fill in the gap. Like before, I'm using this this Wall Street Journal article, central bank digital currencies, because that's what I've got here. So I'm going to take this first couple paragraphs and I'm just going to stick this in because what you need to do is you need to paste an actual text. And then what you're going to do with the text is every individual word is like put in these little gray boxes. I don't know if you can see this here, but it's like super light. Anyways, so you're just going to click on the words. And that's the words that you want them to highlight. Now, I'm just randomly picking here because honestly, I have not really read through this, but let's just pick a bunch of random words. Okay. And then once you're done selecting it, you can kind of see, it's a little hard to see, but once you click on it, it kind of turns like this orangey thing, but it's not super highlighted. Anyways, then when you click do the magic, you've got the words here on the top. So various, China, profound, debates won, and roughly were the words that I chose. Those are such random words. Obviously, when you do this with your classes, you're going to do this with in a more judicious way. Like you're going to select very specific words. And then it creates the text and it already has the gaps and the gaps are numbered. And then it gives you the correct answers. So cool, right? Then let's see, we've got a matching word to definition exercise. Here's the thing here. You can't do this without words. Like you have to have a set of words and you have to separate them all by comma. So let me so I'm sure probably many of you have this in, like a lot of teachers do. I've got one here. I've got like a bunch of them, but I'm just going to grab this book, which is the Basic Vocabulary in Use, because why not? And I'm going to flip to unit. Let's see. Let's find a nice little unit. Oh, okay. We'll do this one. Okay, it's unit 44. It's called In the Kitchen. And so I'm just going to take some words here. So let's say, if I can spell them correctly, I apologize. So let's say you are working in a course book and it gives you like a certain set of vocabulary, or maybe your students are having trouble with like specific words from, something that they've been working on, but they haven't been really able to capitalize or use them in their production. So you can just put a list in here. And I'm just gonna finish with that one. Okay, great. So I've got a list of 9 vocabulary words. And this is all from In the Kitchen. It's from a basic unit. So we've got like faucet, freezer, sink, microwave, cabinet, right? And then when I hit do the magic, what it's going to do is it's going to match all of those words with the definition. And so it'll give you the definitions first, then the words, and then the correct matches. Here's the thing though. You have to double check because, for example, if I'm using a word that, for example, produce or produce, well, one of those is a verb and one of those is the vegetable aisle in the supermarket. So you have to be careful because if you throw something in here and you just assume that it's going to understand exactly what you mean in exactly the context that you're using it for your students, you are wrong, my friend. And yeah, we can't do that. So you can throw them in there. These are relatively basic words, right? So, I mean, and they're nouns, like faucet is a faucet. That's not really going to, there's no other equivalent to that. So then, yeah, of course, faucet would be a device that controls the flow of water from a pipe, usually found in kitchens and bathrooms. Great. Perfect. Because there's not really a lot of confusion there. However, some other ones like produce and produce are different. But it makes it easier, right? So you just have to double check the definitions. Nice, easy matching. So you could use that for your pre-teaching of vocabulary. You could use it because you want people to match. Sometimes I'd like to switch it out where I don't have the words, I just have the pictures and they're matching the definition to the pictures, and then you can do it any way that you want. But it's in a quick, easy way to create a matching exercise. Create a list of sentences with your vocabulary. So let's go back again and say, oh, I wish I copied and pasted that. Now I got to type it all over again. Okay, so let's go back to these. I'm just going to do a couple of them because I don't want to waste a bunch of time on this. So you put target vocabulary in. I've got 5 words here just because time saving purposes. And then you can put level, so it can be simple or advanced. So let's compare the two. Let's do simple first and see what it comes out with. Oh, and here you can also, it has a little note here that you can specify your request by adding the part of speech or a synonym in the brackets. So for example, work as a noun, work as a verb, balance in terms of balance as harmony. So you can do that and it makes it a little bit easier. And what it comes out with is 5 sentences because we have 5 vocabulary words. And the words are being used in a sentence that is slightly more contextualized. For example, I turned off the faucet after washing my hands. Great. My ice cream is in the freezer. It's too cold to eat now. Oh, it's too cold outside, not the ice. I was like, isn't ice cream supposed to be cold? Anyways, okay. The dirty dishes go in the sink before being washed. Okay, great. Okay, so they've got some contextualization here. That's nice. Sometimes it's not super great, but AI, again, we just have to double check as teachers. Great tools, but so let's see what it does with the advanced level. The old faucet in the bathroom is difficult to turn on. My mother always stocks our freezer with homemade meals. The dishes are piling up in the sink. I should probably wash them soon. So you can see it's a little bit more advanced. It's not super advanced. It's not something like, obviously the vocabulary there too is not helping because how many advanced phrases can you use with faucet? So it does, create a bit more of a challenge when you put between advanced and simple. So it is a good tool, and you can use these if you want to do like a gap fill or something like that, if you want to change it around. So again, it takes a little bit of the creativity off of your shoulders and it gives you some suggestions. And then if you want to build off of those, great. If not, also fine. Essential vocabulary on a topic. Let's see what this one does. So we got to paste our topic here. Let's put in the kitchen. Why not? Because I was talking about central bank digital currencies, but now I'm in the kitchen. And then you can, and then you can pick the part of speech. So nouns, verbs, adjectives, phrases, idioms, and phrasal verbs. I want to let's do idioms for in the kitchen. A piece of cake, spill the beans, butter someone up, cook the books in hot water, out of the frying pan and into the fire, like 2 peas in a pod, take it with a grain of salt, all sizzled, no steak, and break the ice. Those are actually pretty good. That's not bad. I'm slightly impressed with the idioms that it came up with. But again, it's just kind of a list of idioms. There's like no contextualization. There's nothing that goes on with that. So then let's do nouns. Let's see. Spoon, fork, knife, cup, plate, oven, fridge, microwave, dishwasher, pot, pan, kettle, toaster, sink, cutting board. Okay, that's fair. Verbs, what do we get? Cook, bake, fry, boil, simmer, chop, stir, pour, peel, grate, season, mix, whisk, microwave, and grill. All right, not bad. Adjectives: hot, cold, spicy, sweet, sour, salty, fresh, cooked, raw, delicious, healthy, unhealthy, tasty, bland, and juicy. What about some phrases for in the kitchen? Cutting board, frying pan, oven gloves, whisk the eggs, boil water, mixing bowl, bake a cake, chop the vegetables, kitchen utensils, microwave meal, cook a meal from scratch, pour the sauce, wash the dishes, kitchen appliances, and recipe book. And finally, phrasal verbs. Clean up, cut out, heat up, mix in, peel off, put away, set up, take out, wash up, break down, cook up, eat out, fry up, pour out, turn on, and off. So you can see it's actually not bad. I mean, everything was related to in the kitchen. Everything was correct in terms of like the part of speech, the category that we chose. And if you're looking for things maybe to do like, the word clouds or something as like kind of a lead in where people have to find the connection between the different words, like this would be great if you had the phrasal verbs and then you put all of those there and they had to find the connection. Like what's the connection? How would you relate those to each other? That would be a really cool exercise where they have to kind of think about like, where would I use these? I would use these with cooking, but always cooking, or, again, idea generation. Wonderful. Okay, next up we've got create a word formation exercise. So for this one, we need to type the words that you would expect the student to fill in. Let's just use these. This is as creative as I'm going to be for this one. So I put produce, product, and production. All right. So the first sentence is the farmer will, and it has a space, and then it says production. A lot of vegetables this season. I bought a new da-da-da from the store yesterday, and the factory increased its da-da-da by 20% last year. And then it gives the students, it's very similar to the transformation exercises that you see like on the Cambridge exams and stuff like that, where it gives you kind of a root or a similar, like a related word, and then you have to transform it into the word that's appropriate. So if you're trying to create those and you're desperately out of creativity, here's a way that maybe you might be able to create those types of exercises. Just a thought. Okay, and the last one, oh goodness, go back to the vocabulary, sorry. And the last one is to create communicative situations with your vocabulary. So let's go back to the kitchen. I'm just gonna use the kitchen ones because it's here and I'm not super creative today, but of course the AI is helping me out. Oven. Typed that wrong. Okay. All right. So I put in the into kitchen vocabulary again: faucet, sink, cabinet, cupboard, stove, oven, and the level as simple, and then click do the magic. And so here, what they give you is communicative situations with the target vocabulary. Let's see what they are. So we've got two people in every scenario having like one line chat with each other. So Sophie says, can you please turn off the faucet? It's been running for a while. And Liam says, oops, sorry about that. I'll turn it off now. Okay. I don't know what you might be able to do this. I mean, yeah, okay. I don't know if that's a communicative situation, but maybe the vocabulary that I put in there isn't great. There could be, like, if you have these types of things, like, can you please turn it off? Would you mind turning it off? asking people. So if you're doing like functional language, or in terms of like, oh, I need to be able to find different ways of asking somebody to do something for me in a polite way. So then your functional exponents that you could introduce, and then they could have situations like this. I accidentally dropped my ring in the sink. Can you help me find it? Of course, let's try to find it together. Well, if it's dropped in the sink, Jack, this is Jack and Emily. Jack, if she dropped her ring in the sink, then it's obviously in the sink and in the drain. So you're just going to have to just get under the sink and pop that sucker off so you can find the ring. Hopefully it's not an expensive ring. Though that does happen. That's a common scenario that happens, right? Women are washing the dishes or something and your ring pops off and it goes down the drain. You're like, oh, Jesus. Okay. Though in Brazil, it makes it a lot easier because we have like we don't have the metal pipes there. We have like the plastic ones, which are way easier. So if you drop something down the sink here in Brazil, it's quite easy to fish it out. That's if you didn't run that much water. Okay, anyways, so you can kind of see that these are little scenarios. Maybe you want to do a gap fill. Maybe you want to use those as conversation starters, and then they have to complete the conversation of a scenario that happened. They might have to role play this. You could use these as prompts where they look at them and they say, well, what's the relationship between these two based on what they're saying? And then could you change the relationship between them? So for example, if they're friends, then maybe, I mean, we're talking about in the kitchen, but maybe you could use other lexical items that would then prompt something that could be discussed between friends and social situations, but then also in business. And then you could look at the registers between the different scenarios. Again, lots of ideas. You can look at these things and say, well, okay, here's a base that I can then do something else with. So that is, So that is the vocabulary tools. So there's fill in the gaps, creating the word definition matching, creating a list of sentences using the vocabulary, essential vocabulary on a topic, and you have all of those different categories like the verbs, all the different verbs, noun, phrasal verbs, idioms, adjectives, etc. Creating word formation exercises and communicative situations. So I'm going to end it here because I'll do another episode showing you all the different ones up next for writing. And then we have speaking, grammar, and listening. Well, we have so many more. So be sure to tune in for the next episode of what to do with Twee and some ideas and how to use it. See you soon.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Real Talk and ELT. Want to join the conversation? Head on over to Instagram at Kelly Pennington ELT and send me a message. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube or Spotify channel to stay up to date. And of course, take care of yourself, your health, your vibe, and your tribe. Until next time.